to be honest, you know, I could probably put more stuff on the internet, but I'm just not that bothered. You know, I like to put enough out there.
We're here in the build-up to Derby against Barnsley, and this is the first time this particular season that you're going to be out in the middle doing your We Are Derby poem. Right, so my name's Aaron Lodge, most people know me as Bodge, and today we're stood outside the Harvester with Jamie Thrasivoulou. How are you, mate?
I'm alright, mate. All good. Yeah, all good. All good.
Surviving the heat for the time being.
Yeah, it's going to be hot on that pitch in a bit.
How's it feel, new season in? First season in League One for a few years.
Forever. Yeah, since before I was going to matches. Yeah.
And we've got a decent crowd coming in today. There's going to be about 30,000.
Yeah.
Which, for a town that has a population of 250,000, that's nearly
10%.
10% going to a game.
10% of the city always come to watch the Rams, mate. That's why we're an amazing club.
Yeah. How nice is it, and how good a feeling is it with you as a spoken word artist and as a poet and somebody that's done music to kind of, like, at this point in your career, to now be being asked frequently to kind of be around a club that you love and to contribute creatively? Like, it must be a brilliant feeling.
Yeah, like I say, it's a dream come true, mate, really, because obviously I get to combine my two favourite things, which is literature and football. So to be able to do that is amazing, and to be able to represent the city. And I think, you know, obviously you get the odd person who don't like it. I'm not really bothered about them. I didn't do it to be loved by everyone. That's not the point.
You're doing it purely for...
Yeah, doing it purely because out of love for the football club and my city. You know, I love Derby. I'm immensely proud of Derby, and yeah, to get that opportunity is amazing. Not many poets get to do what I get to do, and I think that's something to be said for that. And I think you just have to.
If you look up and down the country, you look up and down the country, you bridge the gap in terms of your field of creativity to be able to mix these two genres together, basically, with football and literature.
I mean, it's quite weird because you wouldn't have necessarily thought, and I don't think Derby County fans thought they wanted a poem, but they've got a poem, and most of them seem to like it. So you know.
I think from a personal point of view, that you look down that poem and it's a history lesson without it being boring. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
When was the first time that you actually started putting pen to paper with this particular project?
About August 2018, when Lampard came into the club, and his comms team wanted to commission a poet. Well, I say the word commission very loosely. There was no money involved, because obviously it was when Mighty Mel owned the club, and they always like to find ways of not paying artists or paying anyone.
Well,
clearly, you know what I mean.
And all became quite clear.
I just kind of said to him, I says, look, obviously I'm going to do it. You know, I normally expect to get paid for commissions, but I kind of looked at it as like, I'm not letting someone else do it. Do you know what I mean? This is my dream, to write a poem for Derby County and to represent the club, and you know, they've been good. I managed to, you know, get a bit of a deal with them and say, look, I'm not paying to get in the ground again. You know what I mean? Like, you can't not give me money and then expect me to pay.
I suppose 4 seasons later, from the point you got commissioned, you're still able to swan in and
probably quids in. Probably the best commission I've ever done.
You don't turn off just supporting Derby County through thick and thin, so I can imagine that it's like having a mortgage a little bit. It will definitely pay for itself, that poem.
And also it's the work I've got off the back of it as well, mate. Like all the commissions I've got off the back of doing We Are Derby, all the work in schools, all the projects I've managed to run. I got commissioned to write the play for Derby Theatre Extra Time. So yeah, it's been a mad journey, and we've just actually got funding for another project right in East Midlands, where we're doing another whole project around Derby County about what Derby County means to people, means to the fans. So that's another thing I've got coming up. So yeah, it just keeps going, man.
With last season being a season like no other, like you could go up and down the country and look at any club, And there's been clubs in similar positions, but maybe not as intense as it was. For you to be contributing in that way, like it must mean a little bit more to you at this kind of time. Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, Radio Derby got in touch with me at the time, was like, could you write a poem about the current situation? So then I wrote the poem We Bleed Black and White. So that's another one that about Derby. I mean, I've written quite a few poems about Derby, but it was nice to kind of contribute that to the narrative. And I know it touched a lot of people, because I just basically kind of just tried to sum up what it means, what the club means to this city and the fans, you know. And yeah, you know, like I say, I'm just ever grateful really to be given the opportunity, and I don't take it lightly. You know, I don't underestimate the importance of doing it. It's amazing. I love it.
I think that's something that runs deep. Even if you weren't a poet, that growing up just purely as a Derby fan, your first game was at the baseball ground.
Yeah.
At what age? 5 years old?
Yeah,
I think we were talking about.
Yeah, 5 years old. Dean Saunders scored the first goal.
Yeah.
Me and my dad we can't remember who it was against.
Yeah. If Dean Saunders ends up hearing this, and you could just shed some light around the kind of time.
It was a midweek game. That's all I can remember. It was a midweek game on the pop side, and then I think I went the following Saturday and we were playing Barnsley. But I just can't. And I've tried to look through this. I just can't find anything that makes sense.
It's quite ironic.
Maybe I've got it wrong
today. Yeah, maybe you've gone full circle with it.
Nothing makes sense. But you know what? My mum was one of them type of people. I definitely had programmes for them games, but I ain't got them no more.
No.
Because my mum was a bit of a tidy freak, so she probably made me get rid of him, which I don't thank her for now.
That's it. There's a car boot somewhere that has found Jamie Fraser's first ever
Derby
game.
They probably ended up in the bloody bin, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah. Today should be an interesting game. I mean, where do you see Derby County at the moment? It's hard to kind of gauge this early on in the season, but there's been some decent summer signings off the back of what was a horrendous season last year. Predictions for today, mate, and
let's just get the win. I don't care. I mean, that's that frame of mind with Derby at the minute, where I just want us to win. I think it's a big thing for us to have won away in the week against Mansfield. To be honest, man, like, I'm just all about Derby winning, but especially at home, we've got to make Pride Park a fortress to stand a chance of getting back out this league. You know, I think we've assembled a good squad. I think we've done well to retain some of the players. You know, Sibley, Knight, Bird, them kind of players. We've done well with Cashing. We've done well to retain them. That says a lot about the club.
I know they kind of got thrown in the deep end last year, but it's definitely been a bit of a blessing in disguise for this season going forward.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Players like Cashing that really did step up to the plate when they got their chance. Talk to us a little bit about your connection with Derby Theatre, obviously with doing Extra Time, and then how that has kind of morphed into you having a headline poetry show that's going to be shown.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a weird one, right? Because I don't do many headline gigs in Derby. I do more headline gigs out of Derby, to be honest. And I just kind of
seem to see that with creatives.
Yeah,
they don't perform a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I just kind of thought to myself, well, I fancy doing a headline gig in Derby. And I thought, well, who better to work with than Derby Theatre? So I got in touch with them and says, you know, would you be happy to have me? And they were like, yeah, of course, you know, work something out. Got me a date, and yeah, it's there, 7th of October. So if people want to come down, I'll be doing my Derby County poems, but I'll also be doing some of the material that people might not have heard before. Because I'm not one of them poets that puts every poem I do on the internet. You know, I've got books published, so I didn't become a poet to just be on the internet all the time, to be honest. So my main ambition was to write books and to work on longer.
It's not a JDZ media freestyle.
No, it's not that.
Bit more.
It's not that. And to be honest, you know, I could probably put more stuff on the internet, but I'm just not that bothered. You know, I like to put enough out there just to keep keep my name there. But
who's like lecturing at uni now and has made that transition from maybe being in their 20s and going forward, and like you're saying, had a play commissioned at Derby Theatre, like come and watch a show that you can put on is the best way of being able to
and I think inspire, obviously Extra Time, that was a show, but I mean what I'm doing in October is very much a poetry gig.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more, I mean, there'll be a lot of preambles, there'll be a lot of anecdotes shared. I mean, in a way, my poetry gigs are they're a little bit comedy as well, because I've got a very self-deprecating humour as well, and I like to share stories about how the poems came about. I've had plenty of funny stuff to observe in Derby. I think people will come and they'll enjoy it. You know, I am good at making an audience laugh when it comes down to that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
It's nice to find a platform. And we've interviewed people in and around, obviously, us being here today, that have tried a few things creatively and then just seem to have touched on something that they know they're the best at in this particular city. And like the biggest compliment I could pay you is that you seem to be leading the way in terms of poetry in this city, and whether it's being at Derby County and doing it on the pitch, which is a brilliant thing for a young supporter. It's like you're saying, a dream come true, to put your poetry in different places like Derby Theatre and be able to help businesses like that have interacting connections. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's, you know, Derby didn't really have a poetry scene till I started my night word-wise, and I mean, it had open mic nights, so that's not to discredit what was already here. Yeah. But in terms of creating a scene that is visible to the rest of the UK, you need to be bringing poets from out of Derby and to interact. And now, you know, you're seeing there's a lot of poets in Derby that are up and coming and making their own way. There's a lot of poets that have had their books published since I started that venture. You know, Sophie Sparham does great. You know what I mean, you got Charlotte Lunn. She's had a collection published with Verve Poetry Press. Camille Macaulay. Do you know what I mean? Like the way I look at it, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think that's kind of what it's about as well, is about opening it up. And I always support other poets. I'm proud of that. And you know, it's something I always want to do. Like any poet from Derby will always have my support. You know, that's how it goes.
And I think it transcends not just through poetry. And it's something that I'm trying to do as well through doing this, is that you're trying to collectively bring people together, and it doesn't just have to be purely poetry.
No,
you have to big up your own team, but at
yeah,
the same
definitely
time, you have to
big up the artists. You know, and I think Derby's getting better at that now.
Yeah,
artists from Derby generally support each other a lot better than what they did 10 years ago.
10 years ago, seems to be the kind of point.
It's like, you know, if you look at the kind of people that all interact with each other. You know, Eyes has always been supportive of me. Slen's dead supportive. I could go on, you know what I mean, like Lost Alone even, you know, from Derby originally, or like all the musicians, poets, visual artists even, like everyone sort of interacts with each other, you know, and supports each other.
And it's one of the best things about the city as well. It's not every city has that kind of...
No.
It's amazing how on a match day, for example, you can walk into a pub and see 6 different creative people that you know, that are all from different places, and they're all going to the Derby game, you know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure, Jamie, and I'm really looking forward to coming to the poetry night that you're going to do at Derby Theatre.
Yeah, sweet, man. And sweet.
Up the fucking Rams.
Up the fucking Rams. Yeah.
Entrepreneurship exemplified, where independent businesses thrive. The real El Capital, a beer festival every night. We are Derby, where the Ram is our symbol. The city is beating hard. We've lived through hard times, persevered, our people possess the spark. We are Derby County, formed in 1884, 100 years before I was born. Under Clough and Taylor came the glory days, the heritage they forged, their legacy still remains. Where on Shaftesbury Crest, the kids now play, where houses stand in turf and slate, on the ashes of our baseball ground, they laugh and have a kick around. As Stevie Bloomer watches down, the city's pride emanates the ground. We are Derby. On that Monday morning after that one-shot weekend, driving all those Man United fans completely round the bend, with resilience in the flesh. We've never settled for second best. Just walk these streets, you'll feel the pride. It's in our DNA. We are Derby, where the future's bright.
Derby never make it look easy, do they?
Nah, never, mate. Just typical Derby that was, wasn't it? But like, we've got the 3 points and we got a jammy deflector goal. Yeah, brilliant,
easy,
mate. All over it, weren't we? All over it. But second half, yeah, a little bit, I don't know, just a bit hesitant and not, the tempo wasn't quick enough for me.
What do you reckon, 7 minutes at a time?
I don't know where they got that from. I think we can blame Mr. Cramp from Barnsley, whatever he was called, anyway.
We're trying to get out the sun, not stick about in it, aren't we? Really?
In it, well, there's no
We've
chance.
only gone redder since the start.
There's no chance of that right now, is there?
How did you find doing your poem at the start, mate? I thought it was your best performance that I've seen.
Yeah, it was good. Well, I mean, my favourite one will always be the Birmingham game, to be honest. I mean, obviously, when I first time did it against Forest, I enjoyed that as well, but the Birmingham one was special just because of the
nature.
Yeah, the occasion, you know, everyone marching through the city and just kind of like call to arms for the club and the supporters to galvanise. Yeah. So that one will always be my favourite, I think. But no, I enjoyed it today. But I'll be honest, I was just struggling in that bloody heat, mate. Yeah. That's why as soon as I saw an opportunity to go and put myself through the sprinkler at the end, I just went for it. It's like, yeah, that'll cool me down. That'll sort me out. Yeah.
Looking like an 80s music video.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know. Yeah, no, but good day, man. Good day. And like I said, for me, Cashin was man of the match. He was outstanding.
Oh, he was absolutely fantastic.
I think he saved our bacon on a number of occasions. So I'm going for him. I know that. I think over the tunnel it says to give it Mendes Lang, which I understand he was good, but Cashin saved it, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought. Can only agree with how good he was in both halves as well. When the tempo kind of dropped, he just looked. He looks about 6'4" when he's about 5'10".
Yeah, no, he's
every single
unbelievable,
time
mate.
he goes up for a header.
It's unbelievable. And that second half, he was just outstanding. I think. Yeah. So great performance from him, which is good to see. You know, spur him on for the season.
Yeah. What's your plans for the rest of the evening?
Celebrate.
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
It's been a pleasure.
See you in a bit, mate. In a bit.